Back in 2008, former WWE superstar Brock Lesnar crossed over into the UFC after a tune-up fight in Japan. I was a big pro wrestling fan in the early portion of the 2000s, so I fully knew who Brock Lesnar was and his physical capabilities as such a massive and athletic heavyweight. You gotta remember, it was a time period where the UFC's heavyweight division was lacking the athleticism and more complete game that we may see today. Very barbaric and basic. The sport was still growing. When I heard of Lesnar making the transition, I was hyped. Beyond words. Because I'm used to the guy fake wrestling, taking pumped up wrestlers to Suplex City, and now he gets to actually unleash true destruction in a blood sport? Count me in as a spectator. This is going to truly be a spectacle. I remember finding the promotional videos and showing them to my parents in efforts to convince to buy the pay-per-view. Needless to say, UFC 81 that included Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir was my first pay-per-view experience. And let's just say it was bittersweet. The build up to the match, Frank Mir demonstrated some animosity toward Lesnar, basically not taking him as serious because of Brock's lack of experience inside of the octagon. Frank Mir, on the other hand, had plenty of experience as former champ, who submitted the giant Tim Sylvia back in 2004 for the title. So he didn't buy into the whole Lesnar crossover hype. He was his opponent after all, but I mean, you still need to respect your opponent's abilities. You gotta have a healthy respect. But healthy wasn't necessarily Frank's state for too long. Seconds into the fight, Brock was performing Donkey Kong on Frank's head, resulting in Frank looking like he emerged from Hamburger Hill. But credit where credit is due. Despite being bloodied and battered in a matter of seconds, Frank demonstrated his experience by keeping his cool, looking through the blood in his eyes, and past the lunch boxes of hammer fists bouncing off his head for an opportunity to use his strong jiu-jitsu game to attack like a fucking snake. Brock, on the other hand, he demonstrated the opposite, his inexperience. He proceeded to stand up straight, with his legs vulnerable. Frank then transitioned to a knee bar attack. Brock was practically a deer in the headlights in his perception of the maneuver. Frank successfully brought Brock to the ground and was well on his way to snapping his leg in half, courtesy of a hyperextension of the knee joint. The massively hyped fight ended in the first round. Brock Lesnar, who was known as the next big thing, not only tapped out, but did so on Frank Mir's ass.